We're going to take a look at some special situations when we're multiplying polynomials, and specifically here for the next two or three videos, we're going to be looking at some special situations involving multiplying binomials. And the ones we're going to look at is the square of a sum, the square of a difference, and then the square of a sum and a difference. And there's a certain patterns that appear as we evaluate these special situations, or what your book calls special product. And it starts with, and we're going to start with the square of a sum. And the pattern that we see with the square of a sum, so let's say that we've got a squared plus b squared, excuse me, not that, a plus b squared, which of course is a plus b times a plus b. Now the pattern that we see when we multiply or have the square of a sum to a binomial that is being squared, we see that this would then equal a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And that's the pattern that we see. So let's look at this one we got over here to the left, which is 8c plus 3d, and that's squared. Well, if I look at this pattern here, then I could then square this first term, ac, and that would be 64c squared, and then plus 2 times 8c times 3d, and then 3d squared, or this b squared. Well, let's see, 3 times 3 is 9, so that would be plus 9d squared. And then all I've got to do is deal with this middle term here, and I'll finish this off. So we got 64c squared. Well, let's see, 2 times 8c is 16c, and then times 3d, 16 times 3 is 48, so it'd be plus 48cd plus 9d squared. Now in mathematics, really a lot of it is recognizing patterns. I got to be honest with you myself, I'm not so sure what I wouldn't just FOIL this thing out, and if I did, I'd get the same thing, 64c squared plus 48cd plus 9d squared. But there's certainly a value to seeing that pattern and being able to condense it into this form, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, rather than going through the entire FOILing process. But certainly the FOILing process would, in fact, work. Now let's look at this second example. And again, we've got the sum of a square, 3x plus 4y squared. And so remember, what we're really talking about is where we've got a plus b squared, that we have a pattern that can help us square that, which is it's a squared, the first term squared, plus 2 times a times b plus b squared, squaring the last term in the binomial. So then in this case, we got 3x. Well, if we square that, that's going to be 9x squared, squaring the first term. And then we got plus 2 times 3x times 4y. And then we just square the last term, the 4y, which is going to be plus 16y squared. And then all we've got to do is do a little distribution right here in this middle term to finish this off. Again, 9x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x times 4y. 6 times 4 is 24, so it's going to be 20 plus 24xy. And then finishing this off with 16y squared. And again, you could FOIL this, you're going to come up with the same answer, but it is a matter of kind of recognizing a little pattern. And if you happen to recognize that pattern and can apply this method, it might help. But the old tried and true method is going to be FOILing.